Officials at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services who are charged with implementing the exchanges added, and I quote, "Due to a compressed time frame, the system wasn't tested enough." And frankly, 3 years should have been enough. And had the administration provided more forthcoming answers and shared in a transparent manner the reality of the challenges it was encountering in the implementation process, I suspect many of these glitches could have been avoided.
Welcome back to Hardball. The GOP blame game is certainly working there at that table. That was U.S. Congressman Dave Camp, Republican from Michigan, speaking at yet another GOP hearing on the Affordable Care Act. As you saw in that clip, the same Republicans who have made it their mission to sabotage the president's health care law are now outraged at a rocky rollout they hoped for and helped cause, actually. Anyway, the GOP's ongoing effort to undercut, defund, and destroy the law drew heavy fire at the hearing, and things took a turn for the dramatic when Democrat Bill Pascrell from New Jersey to defend the law from an onslaught of Republican attacks. This is Pascrell addressing the hypocrisy of the GOP's sabotage assault by reminding Republicans that when President George W. Bush expanded Medicaid, Democrats opposed it, but then worked to make it better, to improve it.
We lost the policy fight, and what did we do? We went back to our districts, and we told our seniors, although we voted no, we personally believe and will work with the Bush administration to make it work. That's what we did. And how many of you stood up to do that? None. Zero. Zero.
There are numerous proposals, including the one that I'm a co-sponsor of.
I yield back.
That deals with pre-existing conditions.
Let me take the time back. Are you serious, what you just said? Are you really serious? We've gone through 44 votes. 48 votes now of you trying to dismantle this legislation. You call that cooperation? I don't.
Well, Congressman Bill Pascrell joins us right now, along with Sam Stein, the Huffington Post. Congressman, you're the kind of guy I grew up with. You're a little, maybe slightly older than me, maybe slightly younger, but you were just like my father's friends in the Knights of Columbus. You speak regular English. You talk the talk. This clown show on the Republican side. That 40 times they voted against the bill that the president had, and there's not a single Republican for 150,000 years that's had a health care plan. They don't have one. There's 40 million people sitting right now in the ER. They don't care about those people. Then the guy comes out, this Griffin character from Arkansas. You know where he stands? For nothing. I'm so glad you called him out. I'm sure he came up to you afterwards and said, "How could you be so direct with me?" Anyway, tell me what the reaction was to being direct for once for these people.
Some folks were surprised, Chris, that I yielded my time. We only had 3 minutes. But you know what? I like that. I knew where he was going. He had his sheet of paper in his hands. Where the hell was this 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago? Yeah. He just signed on to that bill, by the way, 5 days ago. This is hypocrisy. This is hypocrisy at its worst. And I wish I had more than 3 minutes, but I'm going to defend what I think should be defended. You know, Chris, we talked way back when, 3 years ago, and I said to you there were some things in this I didn't like and some things that should have been in that weren't in there. But the thing is done. We voted for it. The Supreme Court supported it. And here we are. It's all over again. It's like repetition, repetition. I say, help us make it better.
You know, they remind me, Sam, of like Ben Brantley, the theater critic at the New York Times. He doesn't have a play to put on. He doesn't put anything out there for the public to look at. He just sits around and comes in on Monday morning and trashes something. What is it? How come the Republicans get away with not being for anything at all for the working uninsured? And then they come off and they dance around, prance around, suggesting little nuances of concern they've had. What a joke. Your thoughts?
Well, let's stipulate for the time being that the rollout of the website has been pretty bad. But if you ask a Republican if they want it to be resolved quicker, they would say, of course, no. They're cheering on its failure. Same with the exchanges. The Republican governors did not expand, many of them did not expand, take on the responsibility of building a state-run exchange, putting the burden on the federal government. That doesn't excuse the federal government for botching the rollout. They should have done this. Dave Camp's right. They had 3 years to do this. But certainly there is an element of hypocrisy here from the Republicans who actively work to undermine this thing and now are cheering the fact that it's failing. So I think the congressman has a valid point.
Well, let me get back to the congressman. What do you think the people in that committee, on the other side of your committee, would like to see as the denouement, the end of this talk? Do they want a better bill? Do they want to revise it, reform it, or revise? What do they want to do? Reform it?
Chris, maybe I'm being naive about this. But I think there's still a good 25 to 40% on the Ways and Means Committee that want to see some kind of a breakthrough where they don't feel that they're being tied down if they say something nice about the ACA. And I asked today, in the very spot that you just showed, I stood and I said, which one of you are going to tell the parents when you condemn this thing and then destroy it, that your kids are no longer going to be covered with special needs? Your kids are no longer going to be covered because they have a precondition. Are you going to tell the parents? Or do you have the courage and the guts to do that? You're going to tell the seniors that they're no longer going to get a shot with that famous hole in the donut when you're paying premiums but you're not getting benefits? Are you going to tell seniors we're going to go back to the old way? None of you have the courage to do that. And until you do, things are not going to change around here. But what else do you need to know that we're not going away?